Animal rights campaigners say that they're going to be scrutinising hunts more closely than ever as new legal restrictions come into force today. MSPs approved changes to hunting with dogs legislation earlier in the year, designed to close loopholes in the earlier ban on fox hunting and introducing a 2-dog limit for all use of dogs in hunting. Well, let's talk about this now with Kirsty Jenkins, a policy officer with animal protection charity One Kind, and Jake Swindells, Director of the Countryside Alliance in Scotland. Right, so that means, Jake, that the use of 2 or more dogs will be allowed in certain limited circumstances. What would those be?
It's a very good question, actually, and thank you for having us on the show today. I noticed Kirsty used the line "for sport." Now, I need to remind everybody listening that this is not done for sport. The word "sport" was introduced by animal rights campaigners to introduce an impact where the public perception is concerned and where politicians are concerned. So this is certainly not done for sport, and I think that belittles the act of predator control for livestock protection and conservation somewhat. Now, in relation to the licence itself, what the Scottish Government have effectively done is introduced a ban because at the moment in time, the enactment came to fruition today. And there aren't any licences. Technically, there is a licence available, but certainly no licences can be issued for anywhere up to 2 months' time. So effectively, the Scottish Government has introduced a ban on controlling or hunting or working with more than 2 dogs to protect livestock and for conservational reasons. So we're not able to access licences for another couple of months. Right.
So just when you talk about land management, I mean, how big a factor is hunting, in land management?
This is a huge factor. We look at it like a toolbox. So we're fully aware that foxes can be managed in many different ways. Now, quite often, foxes are shot, whether that's under lamplight, whether that's using light intensifying equipment or just during the daytime. But this is for around 2 to 3 months of the year when the crops are low, when the vegetation is low. When what has been going on for the past 20 years is flushing from cover for to weighting guns. Now, this has been law for the past 20 years. This is what people have been doing for 20 years. So we've been using dogs to flush foxes from cover to be shot by concealed weighting guns.
Jake, finally, with Kirsty saying that really the onus should be more on farmers to look after their sheep, is that practical to try to keep them away from the foxes, or what sort of impact do foxes cause?
Well, first of all, I think it's very interesting that Kirsty's had a bit of a change of heart on behalf of One Kind there, because I had the pleasure of sitting in the evidence session in the Scottish Parliament with Kirsty during the process of the bill passing. And Kirsty actually stated to the committee that landscape scale control was in fact necessary to control foxes, and that One Kind actually understood that. Now, a bit of a change of heart, obviously, on Kirsty's behalf there. But illegal hunting, as Kirsty says, has been used. Now, in every single sector, the minority, one person, will do something wrong. Whether it's driving a car, stealing cars, but you can't tarnish, the actions of one or a minority number, a few number of people, with the brush that you would describe everybody with. Okay. Now, in relation to practical. Kirsty mentions bringing lambing inside, for instance. This is not just about the protection of livestock. This is about conservation as well. The Scottish Government own department, Nature Scot, said that we will lose the capercaillie within 30 years if we don't increase predator control. Okay. Now, this is an iconic Scottish bird. We need to protect red-listed species such as the lapwing, such as the curlew. We can't bring lapwing and curlew indoors. We can't build fences around them all. This is not just about one small area.
Okay. So you would say
this is about a whole bigger. It's a bigger picture. It's about conservation and it's about livestock protection.
Okay, well, we'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you both very much for joining us, Jake Swindells and Kirsty Jenkins.